This conference will now be recorded.
Hi everyone, welcome to Isha Training Solutions. So we will wait for 2 more minutes for others to join and then we will start our session. So welcome everyone once again. So yesterday we were discussing about the course content. Okay, what are all the things that we are going to cover as part of this performance engineering learning? From today, I'm going to actually start the content. From today, we are going to discuss about the first topic, which is your performance engineering introduction. Okay, performance engineering introduction part. We are going to start as mentioned yesterday. From today, we are going to start slowly each and every topic. Yeah, the first one is introduction to performance engineering. Okay, introduction to performance engineering. Okay, so everybody should understand what is this performance engineering means. Okay, performance engineering means. Okay. So end-to-end level, if you are focusing, okay, on when you're focusing on application performance end-to-end level, and you wanted to optimize your performance, okay, irrespective of the layers. It may be your front end, it may be your back end, it may be anything, but you wanted to optimize your application performance. You wanted to optimize your application performance through the performance engineering concept. Through the performance engineering concept. Okay, why this focus area is actually very important? Why everybody started talking about performance engineering? Because right now in industry, the trend is moving towards like this, right? Like you should know everything, you should know everything. The trend is like that. That's the reason, even the devops means what? Development and your operations are hand in hand. Development in your operations are hand in hand. What everybody thinking nowadays, everybody should know everything. At least you, whether you are not doing or what, but you should talk. I mean, you should know. That is what the expectation in the current trend in the industry right now. Whether you are doing things, that is different story, but you should at least know, aware of that particular topic. That is why the performance engineering is actually becoming very very famous nowadays. Okay, say like, if I talk about the performance testers. Okay, performance testers, specifically performance testers, because definitely I know in this forum a lot of performance testers will be there. So that's the reason I'm right now focusing on performance testers. Performance testers, what they are doing right now in industry, what performance testers are doing? Anybody can say what regular activities are performance tester? Anybody can say? Performance testers, what they are doing?
Performance testers usually they get the requirements, create the scripts, run the load test, stress test, whatever performance tests are planned, and they share the test results.
So performance testers, what they are doing, as you mentioned, they are collecting the requirement, converting that into scripts, execute that, provide the report. That is what your performance testers are actually doing. Okay. But performance testers, what they are doing, problem identification. That's all. There is a problem, but they are not identifying where the problem, what the problem, how it can be even resolved. All those things, performance testers will not cover. Correct. Performance testers will not cover those things, but performance engineering covers that. Okay. Performance engineering, what it is saying. Say, performance testing means what? It is testing and providing your findings. But performance engineering means what? That finding how can be implemented or fine tuned, optimized, how you can do it. That is what your performance engineering means. Okay. And one more problem also I'll tell you. Okay. Right now, performance testers, what type of testing they are doing is usually how many test types they are doing, what test type they are doing. Usually performance testers now in industry, what they are doing. Anybody can say. What test types you guys are doing?
So when you say test, do you mean the kind of performance test, load test, endurance test, those kind of tests?
Yeah, means that you are saying load test. What else? What else?
Endurance, stress.
No, all these tests you are doing every release.
No, it all depends on the application that I test.
No, no. What test that we are usually doing now regularly?
Load test.
Load test. That is what the answer. So why I am saying, yes, we have by definition lot of tests that are available by definition, but by practical way, only load testing only most of the organization that they are doing. Most of the organization, I would say probably more than 80% of the organization, they are only doing load test. Only load test. Okay, why? If you are asking them, they will say that much time only we have. That much time only we have, because we are working in agile mode, we are working in DevOps mode. We have that much of a time to do the execution. That is what the response that we are getting it from the people. What they are saying, we have only time to execute the load test alone. That is how everybody is. Okay. But in reality, you think like this: if you only cover load testing, do you think like your application is free from all the problem? Your application will not have any problem if you are only doing load testing? No, no is the answer. Okay, no is the answer. Because you cannot certify your application only by doing a load test. Only by doing the load test, you cannot certify your application, and you are make sure that your application will not create any problem in the production. No, no, that you cannot confirm at all. Because load testing means what? Anybody can say what is load testing? By definition, what is load testing?
So it basically means testing the behavior of the application under load conditions. When I say load condition, it would be trying to simulate production, getting the production statistics, and then creating a workload model and using those details and then trying to simulate that volume in the lower region.
Yeah. So maybe you explained well, but the actual keyword I'll tell you, load test means testing the application with the expected user load. This is the load testing. Okay. Expected user load. In production, you are expecting something. That expected user load you are simulating in your QA. That is what your load testing. Testing the application with the expected user. And most of the time, the load testing duration is what? 1 hour. The load testing duration is what? 1 hour. So testing the application with the expected user load for 1 hour, that is actually load testing. How can you certify that your application is working for all conditions? Because you are only doing the testing with the expected user load for 1 hour alone, but your application may be experiencing a problem after 1 hour. Exactly after 1 hour, your application may be experiencing a problem. Say like this. say like this. So this is a graph. Say like I'm doing a load test. Okay, I'm doing a load test. Probably the load test is for 1 hour. Okay, the load test is for 1 hour. Okay, so my application available memory, is, while starting the test it is here, and then my available memory is slowly reducing till here the test completed. Till here the test completed, and you are saying your application is working fine. Your application is working fine because you did the load testing for 1 hour, and your all your response time metric or all the metrics that are under the SLA. So you are saying your application is working fine. But who knows, if you run your test for another 30 minutes itself, your application will crash. If you are running the test for another 30 minutes itself, your application will crash. But we are not focusing on those things, because what you guys will say, because of the timeline pressure, I have that much of a time alone available, so that what you guys are doing, you are running the test for 1 hour, you are providing the report to the stakeholder, and then you are moving on to the next release activity. That's all. Nobody is actually focusing, is it a real certification? I mean, is it a real way to do the testing in this way, or do we really require to focus on some other way, or how our application is actually behaving? All those things nobody is actually focusing on. So that's where the risk involved. So as a performance tester, either try to do more of different test types. Different test types, you can do it. Different test types, you can do it. What are all the test types usually you focus? Load test. Okay, I'll type it. What are all the different tests? The load test you can do. Even endurance test we can do. Stress test we can do, or scalability test we can do, or volume test we can do. But by theory it is already there, but nobody is actually following. And say like, if performance testers are unable to perform these testings, I told you, right, because of the timeline pressure, you guys are unable to perform this type of testing, means at least try to do your infra monitoring or DB, database monitoring. Okay, these are the things are important. It means that what, if you are not performing different type of testing, at least you try to do infrastructure monitoring and then database monitoring, so that you can at least understand, is there any problem in those layers or what? In those layers there is a problem or not. Okay, I'll take a pause here. Anybody have any question? You can ask your question, please. Okay, so now performance testers, what is the problem for performance testers? I told you they have a timeline pressure. They have a timeline pressure, and they are unable to do certain additional things. They are only doing load testing, and then so that's where the performance engineer role is actually coming. The performance engineer role is actually coming. What your performance engineers will do, they can do all these things. They can do infrastructure monitoring, they can do database monitoring, or they can even help you to do all these things, because they don't have timeline pressure. Performance engineers will not have timeline pressure. Performance engineers can dedicatedly work to optimize your application performance. Performance testers only run behind timeline. Performance engineers will optimize your application performance, so they can try to do all these things. That's where performance engineers role is actually coming. Okay, there only their role is actually coming. Okay, then you can think about developers. Okay, so what developers are actually trying to do? They are developing developers. they are doing a code development. They are doing a code development. Okay. And in this forum, any developers are there? Developers are there? No? Okay. They are doing the code development. For them also, because of the timeline pressure, they are not doing a unit testing. They are not actually doing a unit testing. They are not actually doing a unit testing. And then they are, without doing unit testing, they are simply deploying into the application. Because of that, you may be getting lot of issues. It may be functional or it may be non-functional, but you will be getting lot of issues. If you go and talk to the developers asking these things, you know what they will reply. They'll say time. For them also, they'll say like timeline pressure. They'll say, I am working for a particular sprint. In that sprint, I have so and so user stories assigned. I am only having a time to develop a user story development, and then I need to prepare the environment for the system tester. I need to prepare the environment for the user acceptance tester. I need to prepare the environment for the performance tester. I need to prepare a package to be deployed into the production. So like that, I have a lot of works to do. I cannot do a detailed unit testing and all like that. Your developers will also say. Your developers will also say the same thing. So in that case also, your performance engineers going to play a major role, because performance engineers can pitch in and then they can also focus on code validation, profiling, code review, optimization, compression, caching, everything can be done by the performance engineers. What developers are supposed to do, because developers are having a timeline pressure, performance engineers can help them to fine tune these kind of fine tune this kind of your application level activity. Okay, this is nothing but what your performance testers activity, developers activity, DBA person activity, even your production support team. Your production support team, what they will say, see, we are getting a lot of new packages to be deployed into the production. Day in, day out, we are working for that activity only. We are deploying the new packages, we are getting outage related information, we are following up with outages. Like that, production support team also, they will say they are busy and then they have a tight schedule. But what your performance engineers can do in that case, they can monitor the server. Okay, they can monitor the server, and then they can think like, okay, say like this application is having so and so configuration. Example, 8 CPU, 64 GB RAM, 8 CPU, 64 GB RAM, and 1 TB hard disk. I'll repeat again: 8 CPU, 64 GB RAM, 1 TB hard disk. Example. Okay, example. And what performance engineers can do, they can go there, observe the system, how your pattern of usage is there. Your pattern is showing you that you are using it a good amount of resources, or you are not at all using the good amount of resources. The resources are actually waste, means you can think about the capacity planning. You can think about the capacity planning. Okay. So even performance engineers can work along with the production support team, and they can come up with the capacity planning as well. Capacity planning. Do we really require to have this much of a configuration or what? Do we really require to purchase this much of a hardware or what? Do we really require to maintain these many servers or what? Like that, they can take a call. They can take a call. So what I'm trying to say, performance engineers, what they are going to work along with these people. Performance engineering means what? Making things in a optimized way. Making things in a optimized way. What are all the things? Yes, developers, they are doing certain things. Performance testers, they are doing certain things. System support engineers, they are doing certain things. All those things performance engineers can do it in a optimized way. You are engineering that. You are checking that, and then you are validating that, and then you are trying to optimize things. That is where your performance engineering concept is actually comes to the picture. I'll take a pass here. Anybody have any question? You can ask your question. Yeah, and I also told you guys like over the journey, it is everybody's role is actually moving towards performance engineering or optimizing things only. Even I told you, right? Like say performance testers, performance testers when they are moving experienced performance tester, that time not only your regular performance testing activity, you need to do additional things. Okay. In any of your organization, you guys are aware of shift left approach. Shift left approach. Anybody heard before shift left approach? Early performance testing. Early
Yeah,
performance testing,
I
shift left approach.
yes, I've heard of it.
Can you tell me like what you guys are doing?
So shift left approach, basically once the development is done or a module is done, you can deploy the
Your voice
same
is very
code.
low. Yeah, tell me.
Okay. Yeah. So what happens is shift left approach basically means early performance testing. So once the developer completes if he's in agile mode, say completes a user story, he can deploy the code in any of the regions, say performance region, and then we start running single user test, and we also try to do some uh, to see if there are any performance issues that are identified during those single user tests.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. Yeah. So this is what the shift left approach or early performance testing. Okay, even I mean, customers are very interested towards this. Why? Why? I'll tell you. So mostly performance testing where it is actually happening towards the end of the release activity, probably in certain organization post UAT, user acceptance testing, or in certain organization in parallel to the user acceptance. So, which means that you are almost in the last week of the release or just the previous week of the release. Okay, last week of the release or the previous week of the release only we are doing the performance testing. So most of the time, what is happening? Say like we are doing the application performance testing, and we are reporting a critical issue. Okay, we are reporting a critical issue. What reaction you are getting it from your developer? Anybody can say what reaction you will be getting it from your developer if you are reporting a very critical issue towards the end of the release.
Why this has been not identified in the earlier
Yeah, yeah. That
initial
question,
testing or something? Yeah.
yeah, that question will definitely come. That question will definitely come. But I wanted a core reaction, guys. There is a core reaction you will be getting it from. If you are telling like this, what is the core reaction you will be getting? They will not even take care or give importance to your report. They will move to the next release. Okay, they'll move to the next release. If you are providing this kind of a critical issue reported during the or the end of the release, they will not even care and they'll move to the next release and they'll say, even sometimes they will say your report is not good, your report is not valid, like that and all they'll say, and they'll move to the next release. I don't know how many of them experienced this. Okay, I experienced it many times. Like the developers will say, no, you did something wrong. You did not follow the process. Your report is not correct. Like that and all they'll say, and then they will try to move to the next release, and they will not worry about our performance testing number. Still, they go to the production. Okay, so to avoid such and such problem. I mean, late reporting of your issue. Because of that, your developers are not accepting your performance testing report. Means it is good that you can go to the shift left approach and then early. I mean, shift left, which is an early performance testing approach. What is that? Just after your development completed, you try to put your layer, I mean testing layer, so that you can find your problem statements in the early stage itself instead of waiting for the code to reaching to your UAT. Okay, actually you can even claim that how that application would be stable. Yes, it will not be stable only, but somehow there are certain things at least you can validate it, and then you can come to the conclusion there is a problem in that area. Okay, that particular screen or place. Okay, so which means that this shift left approach or the early performance testing approach will, which will help you to identify the problem statement little early in the cycle, instead of waiting for such a long time to report your issue. You are doing your testing early in the stage, and then you are trying to identify the problem statement. That is the reason we are going on with this kind of an approach. And customers, even they are also encouraging these things. Okay, because what customers also thinking, like then and there we find the issue, resolve the issue, find the issue, resolve the issue. That is what every customer is also expecting, and nobody is expecting you to go till the end of the release and then provide your things. No, that is not the expectation. Okay, so that's where this early performance testing concept is actually comes into the picture. So that also we are, I mean, the early performance testing means what? Single user level. So in this course journey we are going to cover that as well. Okay, so that that single user level, I mean the single user performance testing level, you wanted to find what your browser level your application is behaving, what are all the browser metrics that you will always focus on, what way you can identify your problem statement, what suggestion that you can give it to your end user. All those things we are going to discuss in this course journey. So that is also actually covered. That is also actually covered. Like that we are going to discuss. Okay. So any question guys till now? Okay. So this browser metrics, okay, load testing tools, okay, browser metrics. So performance testers in this forum can say like which tool you guys are working, which tool you are using currently, performance testers.
Load runner.
Okay, load runner.
Yeah,
Source
load runner.
command.
Performance center, load runner, yes. What else?
Akamai is source tool.
What is that?
Akamai, the source tool.
Okay. Okay. So anytime your customer asks you guys like browser related metrics, anytime. Browser related metric your customer asked with you people.
Yeah, we'll do Fiddler, and then using the developer tools also. Sometimes we do for the single user profile. Yeah, those are the things we use.
Okay. Which means that your customer already expected those things from you people, correct? So that's the reason.
Yeah.
So why I ask this question? Now every customer, they are expecting this additional metric, guys. Okay, this additional metric. Why I'm saying this additional metric? Because in the basic metric of your load testing tool, it is not there. Okay, your load testing tool is not capturing these metrics. Okay, load testing tool will not provide browser metrics. Okay, browser metrics, because load testing tool is not using browser. Okay, anybody can say why? Load testing tool will not provide a browser metric. Why? Anybody can say?
So it will not capture this client-side metrics. It depends on the request sent from the servers. So it will always capture the server responses, not from the client rendering responses.
Yeah, wonderful, Dilip. Okay, so that is what the answer, guys. Okay, your performance testing tools are communicating in the HTTP layer. HTTP layer, not in the presentation layer. Okay, presentation in the sense like your browser layer, it is not actually doing the communication. It is doing the communication in the HTTP layer. Okay, anyone have any question in this? What is HTTP layer?
Can you elaborate a bit?
Yeah, so just a minute. I'll open Paint first. Say like you have your browser. Okay, you have your browser and you have your server, application server. Okay, this is your application server. Whenever you are giving a request, the request will be going to your physical server, and your physical server will provide the response, and the response will be reaching to the browser. Okay, whenever you are doing things manually, this is how it is working. Whenever you are doing things manually, this is how it is working. Okay, now I am going to do the script preparation using your load testing tools. So all the load testing tools working, say like example, typical example, JMeter tool is there, right? JMeter. So the JMeter tool, I'm taking an example. It is actually proxy recording, right? Proxy recording. So man in the middle, it will do the proxy recording. Say like during the recording, what will happen? You are going to launch your browser, provide the request. You are going to provide the request. Okay, what your JMeter, because it is going via JMeter, because JMeter is actually a proxy server, right? It is going via JMeter. Your JMeter, what it will do? It will take the copy of the request. It will take the copy of the request, and then it will send that request to your physical server. It will take that request to your physical server. Your physical server will provide the response. The physical server will provide the response. It will go via JMeter. It will go via JMeter because JMeter is actually a proxy server. So what JMeter will do? It will take the copy of the response as well. It will take the copy of the response as well, and then the response it will send it to the browser. It will send it to the browser. This is what is actually happening in the recording time. During recording time, this is what is actually happening. This is what is actually happening. Okay, recording completed, and I need to do the replay in performance testing tool. Recording completed. I wanted to do the replay in load testing tool. So in load testing tool, during the replay, what will happen? This entire layer will not be there. This entire layer will not be there because tool is already having the request. So tool, what it will do, it will provide the request to your physical server. Tool is already having the request. That request will be sending it to the server. So server, what it will do again? Server will provide a response. Okay, this is called as what? You call this as replay response. This is called as what? You can say replay response. So now you have recorded response, you have replay response. So your tool will say if both are equal, pass. If both are not equal, fail. If both are equal, it will say pass. If both are not equal, it's fail. Okay. So meaning that what? There is no concept of browser in the case of your load testing tool execution. In the case of your load testing execution, there is no concept of this browser at all. Okay. Maybe those who are working in load runner, you guys can tell me that there is a protocol called TrueClean protocol, and which is actually giving that, but it is also still not the complete representation of the browser. Okay, it will not still provide the complete representation of the browser, because the complete representation of the browser is nothing but your JavaScript, CSS, your static contents, or your HTML contents, how it is actually loading, or your DOM content download, all those things. If it is talking, that is actually your browser simulation. But that kind of a simulation, even TrueClient also will not provide. Okay, so what I am trying to explain here. Now, whatever your JMeter representation that I told you, right? This is actually the HTTP representation, because your presentation layer is not at all available during the replay. So, which means that your browser related metrics you are not capturing. Right now, you are not capturing. But customers are expecting those browser level metrics. So that is also we are going to learn as part of this course journey. We are going to learn that as well, and we are going to see like different tools in the market, like web page test, GT metrics, dev tools, like that. We are going to have different tools understanding on how to read and understand this level of metrics, and you are going to take a call whether any problem with the static content that we are accessing, or whether we have any problem in the data loading or what, like that we are going to discuss on. I'll take a pause here. Anybody have any question? You can ask your question. So those who wanted to proceed with this course journey, okay, I mean those who wanted to enroll yourself, those who wanted to attend this training session, okay, please reach out to Kumar sir. Okay, this is Kumar sir number. Maybe I'll just a minute, I'll copy, I'll paste it in the chat. Okay, his name is Kumar. Okay, so I'll do the same in the screen as well. You guys can reach out to this number. His name is Kumar. Okay, 8019952427. 8019952427. You can reach out to Kumar. So actually, this is actually 1 hour of a session daily. Okay, we are planning to have 23 plus hours of a session. Probably it will go 25 hours also. Okay, so each day 1 hour session, and this is actually a weekday session, Monday to Friday, weekend holiday, Saturday, Sunday holiday, and the time slot is actually 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock Indian time, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock morning, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Correspondingly, in in other locations. Okay, so we will share all the artifacts, documents, everything through Google Drive. Through Google Drive we will share, so you guys can download and then you can use it. All the course content available, right? This entire course content, and we will be learning these things in a practical way, hands-on way. We will be learning hands-on way. We will be trying to learn this entire things. I mean, I will share the sample application and I will show you the setup procedure, and then everyone can set up that local application, and then we all will learn heap dump, thread dump, garbage collection, all those very key concepts through a hands-on experience. That is how this entire course content is actually designed. Okay, so everything will be hands-on. We are trying to cover, and I told you the unique things, right? Like the unique thing is in this course content we are going to cover APM tool, one complete APM tool. We are going to learn it, and then we are going to see the client side performance monitoring. I told you, right, the browser monitoring, that is very important in the market nowadays. Everybody is expecting, so that is also we are going to learn. And the key thing is infrastructure monitoring, Windows level, Linux level infrastructure monitoring things also we are covering. These are the unique things, because the industry is expecting that. If you are learning, that will be a value add. So that's the reason I'm saying. So from tomorrow, the remaining initial topics. So today also we started our session, but for tomorrow we will be continuously going ahead with our learning itself. So those who wanted to continue with this course journey, you guys can reach out to Kumar sir. 8019952427 is number. You can reach out to Kumar sir for any further information, and then any questions related to course content, course timing, anything you wanted to discuss with him, you can discuss with him. Okay, so thanks everyone for joining this demo session. Thanks all for giving me this opportunity to share my experience with you people. Thanks, thanks all. Bye bye.